Gardening sustainability. Sustainable gardening is one of those terms that are really hot right now, but don't have a clear defined definition. Why is this? Well, because it's basically an ethos where you're trying to put more back into your environment rather than what you take away from the environment. So that means whatever you're going to plant, you want it to nourish the ground, nourish the earth, rather than destroy it. And that's the key ethos of sustainable gardening. By practicing sustainable gardening, you can give back as much as you take. So how can you utilize some tips and tricks to make your garden more sustainable? Well, the first thing to start with is your garden design. Incorporating resource conserving practices in your garden plan will give you a head start on keeping your impact on the earth to a minimum. Sustainable design is quite comprehensive. When you're planning out your garden, think about the different plants you intend to grow. The shadow-loving plants should be planted in the shade of tall, lush plants where they get plenty of shade. Plants that love sun should be planted in sunny areas where they can enjoy being pampered. Plants that crave water should be planted in moist areas of your garden, while ones that are drought tolerant can be in those more arid areas. By planning out all these points in advance, you can reserve plenty of resources while having a nourishing and thriving garden. Another thing to utilize to make your garden more sustainable is by planting natives. The plant you see behind me is the American beautyberry. This is a native to our area, and not only will its berries flourish in this particular environment to feed us, but it'll also feed the native wildlife. You can find what edible natives are local to your region by doing a quick search on Google. Another key thing to think about to make your garden more sustainable is water conservation. Here you can see one of our many rain barrels where we collect the rainwater that comes off of our gazebo roof. I can then use that collected water to water my plants rather than using the city's resources, therefore conserving water. Another method of conserving water is to plant water-thriving plants in areas that stay naturally moist, while planting drought-tolerant plants in places that stay naturally dry. Another technique for sustainable gardening is going solar. As you can see, we have lights in our gazebo and they are solar powered. Here you can see the collection panel that I have located where it will collect light at all times of the day. You want to make sure in placing your solar collection panels that they can receive light during morning, midday, and evening light time hours. That way your batteries will remain fully charged. Make your own compost. Not only is it better for your garden, but it's better for the environment and better for your wallet. Here you can see our two compost bins. This is our tumbler and this is our trough. The moist kitchen scraps, the kind that other critters might enjoy as well, go in the tumbler as it's an enclosed space. Once those degrade enough, they get moved into our trough where we add dry leaves and grass clippings that critters aren't as likely to want to investigate. The trough, as it's open air, encourages bacteria and earthworms and other insects to help to come and aid in the decomposition process. By composting, you are removing material from landfills that won't degrade properly as they are in an anaerobic environment, thus releasing harmful gases into the environment. Compost is not only good for you, but it's good for the environment, and it's a key component of sustainable gardening. Use organic gardening methods. And what I mean by this is my two favorite methods, and that's companion planting and mitigating pest control. So here you can see I have some eggplants planted companionly with marigold. Now marigold is a great companion plant because not only does its aroma repel pests, but it releases chemicals into the dirt that will make root knot nematodes go away. And they are the bane of my existence, so I love marigolds. I always try to plant a marigold and a member of the allium family in each of my container gardens. That way I can repel many of the pests that would affect my potted plants without having to resort to chemicals. And this leads me to IPM, or Integrated Pest Management. And this concept means that you will start off with the least invasive method of controlling pests and then gradually step it up if that doesn't work. And one of the most common methods of getting rid of pests is by using your own hands. I know many of you may be squeamish about this, but it's very effective as you can investigate your plants and remove the pests you don't want while leaving the beneficial insects. Another method that might be easier to swallow is to spray your things down with a hose. A powerful jet of water will knock off many of those pesky pests without damaging your plant or the environment. Mulch is a sustainable gardener's friend. Not only will it help regulate ground temperature, but it'll limit weed growth and conserve on water, as mulch has a protective layer keeping the moisture at the root level rather than letting it evaporate into the air. We make our own mulch by using a wood chipper and using our own yard scraps to create what you see here. Mulch will also degrade over time, encouraging beneficial insects to enrich the soil, and the nutrients will also enrich the soil, very similar to compost. Plant trees. Not only are they beautiful, but they will give you many benefits to your garden. They'll provide shade for shade-loving plants. They will provide oxygen for you by absorbing CO2 and releasing oxygen back into the atmosphere. And they'll provide habitat for birds and other wildlife that will help integrate into your garden, deal with pests, and enrich your environment. Besides that, if you plant fruit trees, you get fruit that you can eat yourself. When choosing your gardening tools, go electric, or even better yet, man-powered. Our lawnmower is a push lawnmower because we keep our lawn to a minimum. Lawn, in my opinion, and in many sustainable gardening practices, is a waste of time, energy, and effort. So keep that as small as possible, because not only will it save you on some annoying mowing time, but it'll save the environment, as those resources will go to plants and vegetables that nourish it rather than a lawn that does nothing for it. My last tip for you is to save your seeds. This used to be a daikon plant, but we let it go to seed, and as you can tell, it has made lots of seed pods for us. We are going to reserve these seeds and place them in a paper envelope. I find that paper envelopes are the best method of storing seeds, as the paper is breathable, so it won't trap moisture in with your seeds that will cause mold. Make sure to write on your paper envelope what is in there and when you collected it, and any helpful planting notes you may have, so that way your next year's crop will be even more successful. Another benefit of saving seeds is not only do you not have to purchase ones for yourself, but the plant has already been grown in your particular environment. So the seeds may be more applicable to your environment come next season. I hope you found these sustainable gardening tricks and tips to be helpful and something that you can apply to your own garden. If you've enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and look up. There's another video that you might like equally as well.